Okay. Hello, everybody. Having a few little technological difficulties here. This is what happens if you leave your technology and you don't plug in for a while. It seems when you then re-plug it in, it goes all haywire. So I've got a complete haywire computer at the moment. So hence I'm on my phone. Rachel's going to be interacting with me as well. So it's all yeah, all a little discombobulated this morning. But I just want to say hi to everybody. It's lovely to see you. I haven't been on for a while. I've had a few things going on. I've been in London for 10 days, had an amazing time um, going to see this incredible chap. I don't know if anybody's heard of him, a guy called Sam Garrett, who is a beautiful singer of a sort of a mixture between Bob Marley and a sort of spiritual singer. And he just creates the most incredible atmosphere. And I was really looking forward to it. My sister had bought some tickets for us to go down to London. And what happens is I've got a crew coming into the house to clear all this mold that's been growing in my sort of sort of like a laundry room, if you like, quite a big space. And all my stuff was in there when I moved. I put, you know how you have all your clutter and everything, but all my fantastic things were all stored in this place. And over the weeks and months, it's got a flat roof on it. It became completely covered in mold, and it's been like that for months and months and months. So this crew came in, and I had to clean everything out. Well, it triggered some kind of an immune response from me with all this mold that I was breathing in. I actually wore a mask, never wore a mask through the whole of the COVID experience. But I put this mask on thinking this mold isn't going to be very good. And it triggered a terrible immune response. So I ended up with this huge rash all over my face. Hence, when Helen was last hosting, I couldn't sort of be seen because it was just horrific. So it spread all over my face. And eventually I went to see the doctor. I never normally do. And she was this most neurotic doctor I've ever come across. And she wanted to sort of do about 20 tests and send me to hospital. And I kind of sort of wanted to back down. I said, look, I've just come for some cream for my face, just seeing what it is really, so I can sort myself out. Because I'm very much into self-empowerment for your own health. And I sometimes get diagnoses from doctors, which is quite helpful. So anyway, so I went to see her and she started giving me a whole list of things I needed to do. And then a couple of days later, I get out of bed, stand on my foot, and I can hardly walk. And this situation gets worse and worse and worse. And my foot swelled up to twice the size. So I was back to the doctor again, but they didn't actually look at me. They just did it over the phone. She said, I think it's probably gout. I said, gout? I've never had gout in my life. Anyway, this toe got worse and worse and worse. Anyway, so this doctor said, I'm going to prescribe you these tablets, which I was picked up from the chemist. And when I looked at them, basically the contraindications and what they were looked absolutely horrific. And I thought, I think she's read through all my notes. Can I trust that she's read through everything? Does she know there's contraindications for myself on these tablets? So anyway, I got back to the surgery and they never phoned me. She never phoned me back. So I didn't. And my mother was going, oh, you must take these. They will clear it up immediately. So I'm kind of tempted because the pain was getting worse and worse and worse. I couldn't walk. It was so rigid, my foot. It was literally dragging behind like Quasimodo. It was, I don't know if anybody's experienced, I've never experienced pain like it. Anyway, so I'm looking at these tablets and they're going, cure, it'll stop the pain, take them, take them. But I thought, you know what? I don't want to take them. I don't feel right. Anyway, this went on for 2 days. So in the end, what I started to do, I found this, as anybody know, Barbara O'Neill. She's, and you probably have come across her. Anyway, and another guy called Dr. Berg, and I'm sort of doing my own investigative research. And basically what sort of resonated with me was to take some ginger, put it in the freezer, and then you let it freeze, and then you grate it, and then and you put it in a poultice. So I created this sort of what was the oil that I used? Fantastic oil, deep cleansing oil, and all this ginger. And I wrapped it in a sort of big bundle around my foot and fell asleep. And 5 hours later, I woke up, and the pain was so intense I couldn't even believe it. And I literally took myself to bed and then sat there in the bed for about 3 hours thinking, how am I going to sleep? I can't let anything touch it. So long story short, I go downstairs, get some paracetamol, which I don't really normally take, but the pain was so bad, and took some ice packs and put it on my foot. So meanwhile, this is like a Monday night, and I'm due to drive down to London on Thursday. I got events down there as well, my own events I'm running, World Sound Healing Day. So I'm sitting there, and there is a reason why I'm telling you all this. But so I'm sitting there thinking, what on earth can I do? These tablets are going, take me. It'll all be over. The pain will all be over. And I thought, I just don't want to take them because it just seems like a terrible consequences. I mean, death is what was one of the side effects. So I wasn't too keen. As you can imagine. So anyway, the next day was Tuesday, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to explain to my sister and cancel all these events and cancel going down to London because there's no way I'm going to be able to drive on this foot. I can't even walk, let alone drive for 5 hours down to London. So anyway, I did all this pulses. Then I got my tuning forks, so I was doing all sound stuff on it. And then a friend suggested very good healing is urine therapy. So I then weed in a bucket and put my foot in this sort of container, and then put my foot in a bucket, which I highly recommend. Actually, it's quite soothing. So I sat there thinking, this is why people go and take pills from the doctor, because all of this grating ginger and tuning forks and putting my foot in a bucket of urine is not the easiest way. Anyway, this is on the Tuesday, and I've said to my sister, I don't think I'm going to be able to come. And I kind of released to the whole thing. I was really wanting to go, and I thought, you know what? If I'm not meant to go, I'm not meant to go. So I wake up on the Wednesday, and I can't believe my luck. 80% of it is healed. I can actually walk. My foot is starting to move a little bit. It took a little bit of movement to get it going. And by the Thursday, I'm off down to London. And of course, I knew going down to London would be an incredible amount of walking around. In fact, I think in 2 days, I did 50,000 steps. And my foot's holding up. Meanwhile, this chin and this whole sort of explosion from the mold experience has also healed as well. Hence, I can come back online. But my whole point about this is I was just sort of thinking about how important it is to listen to your intuition, to listen to your gut feeling around, what your senses are. And my sense was, look, the doctor may not have read your notes. She may not have thoroughly looked at everything. And these tablets may be the worst thing you can do, even though you've been told they'll clear it up really quickly. The pain and the suffering will be gone. But I just knew intuitively, my gut was telling me, don't take them. Anyway, this doctor got back to me 2.5 days later, send a message saying, I'm really, really sorry I haven't been in touch. But yes, it is a bit dodgy taking these with your condition and with other medication you're taking. So actually, but in this case, I would take it for severe. It will clear it up very quickly, but we're going to have to monitor you. Anyway, by that time, obviously, it had come back online, and my foot was virtually 80% healed, and it's perfectly okay now. But I'm just wondering if anybody else has had that experience where they've had a gut reaction to something or to trust. So my whole feeling is all about how we're being given opportunities to trust and empower ourselves. And even though that was there as a safety net, I thought if I go down that route of taking those tablets, if this happens again, that's the thing you tend to start going towards because it's what you've experienced before. So it was just an incredible sort of ride, an incredible journey of trust and releasing and letting go and going, okay, I can't go. I'm going to have to forget it. And I ended up going down there, had the most incredible time, did an incredible event, met some amazing people. And I was just so amazed. It was like a miracle, really, because if you'd seen me a couple of days before, there was no way I was going down to London and going to do this event. Face was covered in a rash, foot was twice the size, totally in agony, and all of a sudden, just by doing these natural remedies. So I was just going to ask you just to tune in because we've all come online. Rachel has been out for a walk, and I know you've probably all been doing something beforehand. So I'd just like us to bring ourselves into this present moment. And I've just been doing my mindfulness journal, and just tuning in to all those feelings and how we can trust ourselves and empower ourselves to start taking responsibility for doing things for ourselves. So just notice how you feel right now when you're sitting, whatever you've been doing, just notice what's coming up after I've been sharing this story of my sort of somewhat demise and then sort of like a rising up from such severe agony and pain and it all being okay. So maybe you can tune in and just see, can you think of any or feel any situation that you has occurred as to where this may have happened, where you may have ignored your intuition, ignored your gut feeling, and then wished that you had followed it because it turned out that your feeling was right. And the other thing to tune into is anything that you use naturally to bring yourself back into harmony or balance. What things help you in life that we can naturally attune to? And maybe you could share with people that are online and also people that will listen to this afterwards. What do I do to help myself when times of crisis? Or do I automatically default to big pharma and the doctors, or do I go to myself first? And if you do, what is it that you'd like to share that is really helpful for our other listeners? So with that, just to drop into the body and just notice your breathing. Don't change it, don't judge it, and just notice what is moving in your body right now, or in your thoughts, or in your feelings. Just relax. Nice deep breath, everybody. Take a nice deep breath in. Shake out, move yourself. If you need to clear any energies, just bring us all into this lovely space. One of my favorite things is to put on some music and just shake my whole body and shake everything out. And it always sort of resets me and clears me. And I had lots of ideas for what I was going to be sharing today, but I can't do it because it's now on my phone, and obviously I'd lose you all if I if I suddenly went to my notes where I've got all my things that I like to share. But what I would really like to say is that yes, it's just so empowering sometimes when you follow your own dictates and listen to yourself, even though your mind is telling you to do something else. And so I just love it if anyone would love to share any situations where you've done that in the past, where you've diverted to your own power, because this is part of our sovereignty, part of developing our sovereignty is to be aware of what is available for us, that we can forge our own path without always having to refer or confer to someone in a white coat or someone we think has got more brains or more experience than us, and know that within all of us we have the whole universe, we have everything we need. It's just a case of tuning in. um, and one of the things I love to do to tune in is to place both my hands, and you're very welcome to do this. I'm not sure whether I've got the right sound on, but just to place your hands on top of your head. So it's like you can feel the vibration and just see what it feels like to make this sound. I'll just do it first. And even though you're probably all muted, you can maybe feel it in your body. And it kind of like opens me up to sort of inspiration and my own sort of higher, wiser self, if you like. So it's just a sound that is like that. So I'll do it first and then just join in. We'll just do a few rounds. And there is a system I use where you go down the whole body using different tones, different vowel sounds to work with the chakras. And when you make these sounds and these vibrations run through the body, it resets your vagus nerve, resets all your calm, your equilibrium, your balance. So powerful, just very simple and very powerful. So if any of you are around on the 24th and 20th, or 23rd and 24th of March, Rachel, I think, will be there as well in Nantwich. There's a Mind, Body and Spirit festival that we are running. Well, not me personally running, but I'm attending. And I'll be doing sound attunements and showing people in talks how to use these sounds. I don't know if anybody else uses them, but that's one of my go-to things because I'm a sound therapist. But I also use aromatherapy oils and essential oils and have done for over 30 years, trained as an aromatherapist. So maybe if any of you have any fantastic oils that you may use, or as a lady on the chat just put about homeopathic remedies, what do you go to? What do you use in your hour of need? What do you find is your go-to? It could be your salt baths and Epsom salts. It could be urine therapy. It could be shaking and dancing. Is anybody here? If you go to reactions, and then there's a hand that you can put up, then you'll come to the top of the list, because I'm a little bit limited because of my phone is only little. But if there's anybody that wants to put their hand up, then I can come to you and you can unmute yourself and share what it is that you find, how you can empower yourself on a health level or an emotional level or a mental level. Because like with the oils, they are fantastic for uplifting. So for example, I use lemongrass and ginger in a mineral spring water spray, and I take it everywhere with me and spray. And I also spray other people as well if they're feeling a bit low, and it uplifts your mood, also cleanses your aura. So yeah, that's what I'd love to share today. If anybody's obviously you can share whatever you like, but if there's anything you'd like, any tips, anything that would help other people to feel empowered around their health, what is it that you use or that you go to?
So Sass, just so you know, we've got Brian with his hand up first, then we've got James, then we've got Wendy. So just to let everyone know, I'm sort of co-hosting with Sass because she's on her phone and can't see everyone quite so clearly. But you can unmute yourselves because she can't do that. So Brian, should we go to Brian first, Sass?
Yes. If you could direct me to who wants to go first, because I can only see a few faces, unfortunately. I will scroll down to see everybody.
Let's
But
go to
Brian,
Brian.
we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Hello, Stress. Can you hear me?
Yes, darling. Hi, how are you?
Yes, technology and computers and stuff. Yeah,
Brian, can you tip your phone sideways, please? Because can you tip your phone sideways? That's it.
That's it. There we can see it now. Hi, Brian.
I have to hold it.
That's
yes,
it.
I'm on the phone. Yeah, technology, it drove me mad. I've had to drop it all out, really. Because, yes, it was all getting a bit much. Amazing, the sound healing. Great, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. That is amazing. I mean, I am the rose, aren't I? I am perfect. But unfortunately, some of my habits have turned into an addiction. I seem to be suffering from the CPOD. In my eyes, I'm sort of smoking myself to death, really, because yes, I've got allergic to it now, isn't it? The body has allergies. I'm also allergic to penicillin, so I can sort of say another man's meat's another man's poison, isn't it? The body is a vessel, and it's unique to us. And it has unique experience. Nature gives it a unique experience, doesn't it? Yes, so we are DNA awake in a wake. But yes, there does seem to be a flaw somewhere. my habit is turned into an addiction, and the smoking doesn't help. It sort of gives me the asthma, and it will make me quite chronic. So yes, I'm an ex-air conditioning fitter. So yes, I know about wearing masks and contaminants and stuff like that. I've got loads of stories I can tell, but yes, the body heals itself, doesn't it? Of course it does. The cells grow every day. The body changes every 7 years. So we are awake now, aren't we? So yes, I'm struggling with an addiction. So yes, my dream has turned into a bit of a nightmare somewhere along the line because of wrong action somewhere. So yes, I have to tune myself in somehow, drop it out, and realise what it is that is causing me to suffer, and drop that suffering out. And you guys give me hope, and I will push forward, and we will all push forward. And yeah, I've got to get out of comfort zone, haven't I? Because I seem to be trapped into the matrix here, in the sense that it's sort of all turned into sort of like the Truman Show, because people want to label you. The doctors wanted to label me. This is half my battle as well, because that made me ill, fighting against these doctors' labels and the pigeonholes that they put me through, or putting me through, turning me into a victim. Well, I'm not a victim. I am accountable. I am accountable for my own health, and I take account for it. And yes, so I'm just getting stronger, I think, and I'm going to push forward. And it's just a case of, yes, just a case of trusting that instinct that you talk about, and getting into that well-being in sound healing, and getting into the honesty. And I thank you for your honesty. And yes, thank you for allowing me to share. And it makes me feel better. I hope that everybody pushes forward, because yes, the world is changing, the tide is turning, and we are taking responsibilities for our own communities. And yes, I love it, and all you need is love. Thank you. I need to do some business, don't I, into the well-being myself.
Well,
yes.
yeah. What do you feel would help you? Castor oil, that's what I use. Yes, thank you, Castor.
I need to be around people like yourself, isn't it? And get into some training and some sound healing. The aromatherapy creates atmosphere, doesn't it? The joysticks,
yeah.
The gratitude, isn't it? So I sort of do the multi-faith thing as well. So yes, how to create a multi-faith place where people can go. I think Rachel is doing something amazing, or was doing something amazing. I don't quite know what happened to the TP, but yes, somebody should be sort of looking after the TP. I'm interested in the pyramids, and yes, the sacred numbers. So yes, so you can sort of create that with the TP. It is a natural thing, and you put the energy into it. So the sound energy goes with it. It is all one, isn't it? To create the atmosphere, to do the transformation. And I want to be part of that, and I will be.
That's great. You
So
have that gratitude.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I was just interested.
On.
I was just interested, Brian, to see if there's any kind of support that you may need to help you, because I've had addictions. I've got an addictive personality. I smoked for 30 years and I just gave up overnight. And I just fooled myself into pretending I was smoking by just doing this. And really, I always realized that the reason why people smoke is to relax, because the breathing in and the breathing out, you become more mindful of it when you're smoking, don't you? So the breathing in and the breathing out is the art of relaxation. And most people say, well, I smoke to feel less stress, but actually they're the most stressful people I know, people who smoke, because they're always making sure they need their tobacco. There's always a supply. Whether you're going to have enough, whether you need to be able to go and buy some more, and also when you finish one, the addiction of the nicotine actually wants you to have another one pretty soon. So it's quite a stressful sort of experience being a smoker, I found, and it is such a relief when you're not held to that. I don't actually feel that smoking is nearly as bad as people make out. I think it's the chemicals they put in the tobacco, because tobacco has been a traditional sort of medicine and communication in Native American Indian circles and probably in other indigenous cultures, but the actual tobacco was pure, and apparently the nicotine gives you a real clarity of mind, and it is supposed to protect you from Alzheimer's as well. But obviously it's been badassed about how bad it is, but I think it's just the way that they create the tobacco with all the different added chemicals in that's real the issue, rather than, and maybe smoking too much of it, rather than the actual tobacco itself. So I think it's been demonized, and actually it's probably got some benefits to it. So it's also not having shame around yourself and going, it's served a purpose, but maybe now my body's asking me to really rethink that and relook at it. But I just wondered if there's any help or any tips that anybody's had overcoming any addiction they may have that they could put in the chat or maybe share with Brian, just to realize you're not alone, and we all have our demons that we have to deal with. And it's good that you can speak about it. It's not a shadow demon. It's one that's well aware of.
Right. So just to let you know, we've got quite a queue forming. We've got
Wendy, quite a queue forming.
Janet, Roger, and Fiona. So I've muted Brian back. So thanks, Brian. I'm having to help us manage the call.
And good luck with dealing with that. Okay, here we are. So there are some positive things. So Janet, would you like to unmute yourself?
James.
And we'll come to you.
James is next.
Oh, sorry, I've got Janet next. Anyway, sorry, Jay. Sorry,
James has been waiting patiently.
Thank you, James. Janet, we'll come to you afterwards. Thank you.
Wendy's after James, just to say.
Okay, well,
James, Wendy, Janet, Roger, Fiona.
It's obviously it's like doing a mirror image for me.
Hello. Hello, Sass. Hello, Rachel. I won't talk for long because I just mostly put my hand up because you were talking about what's alternative treatments or medicines or whatever you've found useful. I have some cream I keep in a drawer that I mix in. It's just basically a carrier cream. I mix in some cannabis oil, and I've got some eucalyptus drops, and I'll put those in, and anything else I come across, really, any natural oil, mix it all up so it's got a different consistency, and use that. I've used it on I had like a little mole type thing on the face. Took a few years of going at it, but it vanished. You can't even see it now. And I used to get sore ears from going out too much, walking in the sun and wind and so forth, but it's helped those as well. So that's my alternative tip. Mix up your own oil, and you can buy cannabis oil, CBD oil online. But last time I looked, you couldn't get it through Amazon, but you can get it direct from other suppliers, so you can get some good quality stuff. And of course, you can take that as well as a medicine for hopefully helping cancer and things like that. So that's my alternative health tip. And funny you mentioned the smoking, because spraying the crops took off really in a big way after the Second World War, apparently. That's what I heard anyway, and that's when the cancers, lung cancer and so forth, increased a lot more. So I would agree with you there, even though I don't smoke myself. I've been busy writing books. I thought I'd tell you that while I'm here. I've got 50 famous spirits of the past speak. That will be well, it's available now on Kindle, but it'll be out at the end of this month in paperback as well. And while I was at it, I also did the Great Awakening book too. It's much shorter than the first, but yeah, much shorter than the first one. I left out the negative stuff apart from where the guides mention it, because we all know about the negative stuff. We don't need to keep reminding people about that. The negative stuff would all be gone in a few years anyway, I'm sure of that. And anyway, that's one that people can enjoy if they want it. They're all quite reasonably priced on Amazon. And that's all I'll say at the moment, because you've got lots of people queuing up and they may have something that others will enjoy listening to as well. But thank you very much for letting me speak.
That's very heartwarming.
Okay.
People that want to speak. And also, James, fantastic. You've been busy writing those books. Is there any chance you could drop a link to where people can buy them?
Yeah,
and the name of them in the chat box, because so that the people who watch this afterwards can also then, through the chat box, can be able to see how they can get hold of it.
Yeah,
would you be able to do that?
If they go to Amazon and put my name in there, find all my books anyway. But yeah, I'll do that as well. I'll
It's
put
good
a link
to have it written down, and then it has more power in it as well when we spell it.
Yeah.
If indeed you'd like people to read your book, and obviously that's the reason why you wrote it. I love your cream tip as well. So if you've got access to just those ingredients, because if we pool all our resources with all the knowledge and wisdom that we've gathered over the years, we could actually have a fantastic, a book eventually where we can put all these tips and all these links and all these groups and everything. It'd be wonderful as a resource. I don't know who would organize it, not me. I'm not very good at that kind of thing, but just an idea that we could all share, all our experiences, but just short and succinct in a book. So if you could write that down for us, James, it'd be really wonderful for the people that can't necessarily watch this immediately or like to have something solid that they can look at. So thank you very much for your contribution. Lovely to hear from you. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you'd just like to mute yourself, we'll go over to Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Sass. Hi, Rachel.
Darling. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
The original medicine woman. That's very handy.
Yeah, I know. I thought that. I thought when you said that, I thought, well, I better say what I do. So when my daughter was born, which she'll be 24 this year, so 24 years ago, I had postnatal depression, quite bad, quite suicidal. And I didn't want to go and see the doctor because I'd always been sensitive to medicines. Antibiotics always made me ill. So my husband at the time took me to a homeopath, and I had no idea what a homeopath was. But understanding it now, I talked about my entire life and what had happened. I'd never told anybody about my life, and I'd had quite a few traumas. And the recent ones being that I'd lost a little boy and I'd had a miscarriage, and I had my daughter, but the doctors just said, go home, give it 3 months and try again, no counselling, no support. So hence I got postnatal depression, because I hadn't talked about any of those griefs, any of that sorrow. And 2 years later, I went to train as a homeopath because it got me well. I did counselling and I did homeopathy. And now, 24 years later, I've been teaching and seeing clients for 18 years now. And I do a lot of teaching. So I teach all the modalities that I use. I don't just use homeopathy. I use herbal tinctures. I use tissue salts. I use doTERRA oils, which I have to say they're one of the best on the market because they're pure. And I use flower essences. So I teach all of those modalities that I use within my practice. And if I was to say every household should have one particular remedy, I would say it'd be arnica, because it's great for bruising, for trauma, any shocks, any bangs to the head. It can potentially stop you going into concussion. It's also a natural warfarin on a low, 12C, 30C, if you understand homeopathy, if you don't come on one of my courses. Yeah, so that's my top tip, I would say.
Yeah, I always would say that as your medicine kit as you go to arnica, lavender oil, tea tree.
Yeah.
I never travel anywhere without all my kits, my homeopathic kits, my rabies homeopathic. So I'm totally with you on that one. Totally with you on that one. But it means I have huge amounts of bags of stuff that I take with me. That's the only thing. But then when
Yeah,
you're a medicine woman like you, so I think all of us should become medicine women and medicine man.
absolutely. And that's
And so
why
that
I'm
we can,
teaching.
yeah,
So
that's fantastic.
so yeah, since the pandemic, so I used to teach, but not so many classes, maybe 3 or 4 classes a year. I didn't do many, but since lockdown, all that nonsense, I've done nearly 70 classes in 2 years. So that just shows you how many more people really want to know about taking back responsibility for their own health. It's really I want to empower people. It's about empowering people.
So yes, there's a new movement growing up, isn't there? The People's Health Alliance, and there's groups and hubs all over the country now where they're trying to build a new network of healers
Yeah.
and medicine women and men offering their healing. They're sort of like looking for places to set up. So it's like the new is going to emerge out of the old crumbling National Sick Service, and a new
Absolutely.
health empowered service is going to be rising up. But people need guidance. So Wendy, if you have any of your courses or a link to anything that you do, that again, it's about sharing knowledge, isn't it? So when we speak out, it's about
Absolutely.
sharing our experiences, sharing our knowledge, so that
Yeah.
other people can benefit from our wisdom. Because there's so many things out there that people become befuddled with. Oh, don't know what to use, what to go
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
what products, what brands, what's they good for. So there's lots of comments that people are making in the chat. So this is really helpful. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and putting your information down there. But if Wendy, I'm sure people would like to know what courses you do, when you do them. So if there's any link you can put where people can get information from you, I'm sure that would be helpful. And also, just the more you can get your wisdom out, the more people you're going to be able to serve and help.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So thank
Bless
you for
you.
sharing that. I'm much
Thank you.
appreciated.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So if you'd like to just mute yourself, and then Fiona, thank you for your patience.
It's Roger next, and then Fiona.
Thank you so
Sorry,
much for your patience, everybody, for me not being very good on the old getting the right people in the right order. But thank you, Rachel, for your guidance. So sorry, Rachel, to keep on putting you on the back burner. I'm sure it's worth waiting for whatever you're going to say. So meanwhile, Roger, could we unmute yourself and share what it is that you want to speak out about today?
Yeah, okay. So thank you for hosting, and most importantly, I'm still looking for funds for my election bid for North Yorkshire Mayor and York Central MP. So I've put my address in the chat, and if anybody would be generous enough to help me, I'd appreciate it. Just put banknotes in an envelope, because I can't accept money in any other way, unfortunately. So that's the most important thing I have to say. And just in passing to tell you, I'm going for a pacemaker on the 7th of March. So that should sort my heart problem out, hopefully. I was unable to get in touch with Helen Miller. I really wanted to talk to her about my condition, but the email I sent to her was just returned. So if Helen Miller is listening now on the call, please call me. I've put my email and telephone number in the chat, so I would like to talk with you if possible. So that's it. That's all I've got to say, and just wishing everybody well.
Wishing you well as well, Roger, for your continued upwards with your health. And there are lots of fantastic things you can do to strengthen your heart and help with herbs and homeopathy and all sorts of manner of things. But obviously, it's something you have to resonate with and investigate. But to support your heart health, alongside whatever, mechanical device you may be using. I don't know what condition you have, but I know that things like hawthorn berry are very, very good for the heart, strengthening the heart. So alongside that as well, it's like, what can we do to help ourselves? Because obviously these things are medication the doctors put you on for life and say you must be on these for life. It doesn't feel very empowering. So it's like looking into what else you can do to support your body with the natural things in life that we're given to help heal ourselves, heal thyself, and be your own physician, along with the help of obviously keeping you alive, which is obviously vital. Because we need you, Roger.
Thank you very much indeed.
Great to see you. Great to see you on. And if anybody feels they can contribute to Roger's fund, he's put his address down in the chat box. So altruistic helpers are required.
Sas, can I just interject here, because it's really important, just to mention, you can send Roger anything up to £50, and it doesn't count as a donation. Anything over £50, if you felt generous enough to give more than £50, there are some rules and regulations, like you have to be on the electoral register. So what I'll do is I'll put in the notes to the video, I'll put a link and a full description of that. So it doesn't mean you can't give more than 50, but if you do, you have to meet these terms and conditions. Otherwise, the money has to be returned to you. And if you don't give a name and address, we have to give it to the Electoral Commission, believe it or not. And I am sure that we will be under a lot of scrutiny, because obviously I'm asking for the same support as well for my campaigns. It costs a lot of money to stand for office, to stand for election. So I'm going to put it in the notes below, because I just want to give everyone real clarity on that. It's important, because if we don't mention that, we could be breaking some of the rules, and I know that they will be watching us closely on this. And so just to say, the next two people up, we've got Fiona waiting, and then we've got Janet waiting, just so you know.
Okay, I'm just going to say I've seen Helen Miller's come on the call. So Roger, maybe you can reiterate in the chat your pointer to your information, so she can find it and contact you if she feels it's appropriate to help you with your heart situation. I just noticed that. So hi and welcome, Helen. I should have let you take it over, because my computer isn't working, so hence I don't know how I'm coming across in this tiny little box, but it's more important is what we are hearing from everybody. So is it, I'm not sure, Rachel, is it Fiona or Janet?
Fiona next.
Okay, sorry, Janet, we'll get to you eventually, and I'm sure whatever it is will be worth waiting to listen to. So Fiona, welcome to the call. And please unmute yourself so that we can then all hear you. Just go for that. So brilliant. Welcome and hi.
Hi everybody. Hi, Cass. Sorry, dogs just started barking as well at the same time. So
they generally do,
yeah. But I couldn't ignore this theme with it. I wasn't going to actually come on camera today, but this is an area which is particularly I'm totally involved in my life, which is because I've been I feel like my soul has called in these really serious diseases so that I can come through them, so that I can have stuff to share. So I'm a medical herbalist, and I've healed myself of stage 4 cancer twice without conventional medicines. So that's been really my life. It's kind of directioned. It's sent me in the direction of supporting other people to heal. More recently, you might remember I came on the call because I had Lyme disease last year. I've now got rid of that as well. And then I had 2 broken wrists. So I think I'm either the most unluckiest person, or I'm actually creating all of this. And I have to say that I have been creating. Owning the creation of your disease is the singular most useful thing that you can do, knowing that you have created it. For people, that there is always benefit. There's so you've talked to people who've come through cancer. So I've had plasma cell leukemia and sarcoma. And then later in life, I had cervical cancer, which went to the ovaries and the brain. And I'm completely cancer free and have been for 17 years. So, you know, I'm very, very, very grateful. But yeah, there is so much you can do in the way of detoxification and nourishing. First time around, I did Gerson therapy, and I work to support people to detoxify their bodies. I want to also, I'm sort of aware that time, I could fill up this whole call with everything I've got to say, but I won't. And my most recent discovery, which has been amazing, is B12 injections. So it turns out that many of us are deficient in B12, and it affects us as we get older. We're more likely to be deficient. It causes Alzheimer's, it causes peripheral neuropathy, it causes a whole host of things, depression, brain fog. There's a whole host of B12 deficient symptoms that actually the pharmaceuticals have covered. They took away the ability of GPs to prescribe B12 injections because it totally got in the way of their profits, you can imagine. So in the old days, you would be able to get B12 injections from your doctor. So I'm now on B12 injections that I'm doing every day, and they're simple, and I'm supporting other people to do them. So I'm supporting other people to find out what your B12 levels are, and also how to do these injections yourself, which are simple, intramuscular, but very, very small needles, because I'm quite phobic about needles. But it's not hard, and the difference you feel is it happens quite quickly. And I've seen other people really benefit as well. So I just really wanted to let other people know you can get your B12 checked at the doctor's. The doctor's range is between 200 and 900. So anywhere between that range, they say is normal. Actually, you need it to be 600 or above. So if you've got anything less than 600, you do need some support. And the quickest way to do it is to inject it. It's a very, very safe thing, and it's very, very cheap as well. So it's, you know, it's like it's a win-win. And it can save us. And the reason I wanted to check it out for myself is because it can cause balance problems. And I wondered whether my horrible accident, which I had dancing, could have been affected by the fact that maybe it was B12 levels being low. So that's why I checked it out. And then I found out that NHS said it was normal, but it wasn't normal because it was 325. And actually it was anything less than 600 should be
flagged up.
Yeah, so anyway, I'll leave this at that, but I just wanted to
Well, Fiona, when are you writing your book on the whole journey?
I am writing my book. Yeah, I am.
I'm glad to hear it, because you know, our experiences, however horrific they may be, are so uplifting and so helpful and so encouraging for other people that you can go down a different route. And it would be fantastic if you could put any details down in the chat box for people that may want to connect with you on their particular health journey, that you may be able to help. We've also got the medicine woman. So it seems like it's a good subject today to discuss our own health sovereignty and how we can forge our own path and feel better about doing it. I know, for one, I'm so glad I didn't take those tablets, because they have horrific side effects. Well, not the side effects, they're effects, aren't they, of taking poisons, pharma poisons. Now, sometimes I know we take them as a bridge, but do we want to be on them for the rest of our life? So it's a very inspiring to hear about your journey, Fiona, and I'm just so just like a miracle, isn't it, really, that you've experienced it. And
I'm grateful. Yeah,
to help others as well.
I'm grateful every day, and I feel like, you know, sharing health is the most important. Being healthy.
And I just say to you, have you ever heard of Holistic Radio UK?
Do you mean Health Radio? I don't know if I have heard of that one.
You can find on Telegram. It's called Holistic Radio.
Okay.
And they're looking for people to run like an hour show. I'm thinking maybe you could share your wisdom.
Oh yeah, I used to run a show, actually. I did used to run a show, the Back to Health show, because I've also run some conferences.
Well, there you go.
I like to do that, actually. Thank you for telling me that.
Go to Holistic Radio on Telegram. If you can't, I can't give you the link right now because I'm on my phone, obviously.
I'll find it.
But you'll find it. And I think they're looking for people to run an hour show sometime during the week. So it may be something you
Okay.
can spread your.
Oh, I'd like to do that actually. I feel kind of ready to do something like that again. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to now move on to Janet, because she's been waiting so patiently. And Fiona, thank you for your contributions. And yeah, if you just put your link down below, then people can connect with you on or off this call and when they catch up later. So Janet, eventually, I'm very sorry you've had such a long wait. It's lovely that so many people want to talk. It's really heartwarming. So thank you. And please unmute yourself if you haven't done already. And oh, somebody there, you see how amazing it is when we all come together. Holistic Radio UK, they do fantastic work, and I highly recommend you tuning in, help to expand your knowledge and wisdom about your own health. So Janet, take over, please.
All right. Oh, thanks for calling me up to speak in this. I don't care if it was the last or the first, it doesn't matter. The opportunity is a great opportunity. Intuition, you started off by asking us to share things that we'd felt our intuition had helped us with. And I fought my intuition until about 8 years ago, because I didn't trust myself and trust that these feelings or voices, or however it came to me, feelings of I shouldn't do this or I should be looking at that. It was quite nerve-wracking to me, because I've been very cerebral all my life. And I've loved studying as long as I can remember. I was 70 on Saturday and I still adore studying. But the truth is, trusting your inner voice is just so releasing in the end when you learn to do it. And I could give a lot of examples, but I'll go to one which for me has been the one which has taught me, don't be silly, listen to your inner voice. And it was, we were in lockdown in Lanzarote, first lockdown. We got a holiday home there at the time, and I was quite scared, because I've been part of the health service all my working life. Sometimes it was funding between health and social services, but nevertheless my training after I taught was more in the nursing and rehabilitation line all my life. But the truth is, in lockdown I thought, oh my word, this is very serious, what's going on? And of course we were all given pictures of horrible situations in China and all sorts, and it didn't resonate. And then I went on the Pfizer website when I heard about this jab business. That was when we got back into the UK, and I thought, that's weird, they've not done a lot of testing. But my intuition kept saying, find the record on their site, because they publish everything of the trials and the level of the trials. Now, I'm not very good at interpreting stats. I did a bit of stats when I did my economics degree, but to be honest, it's not my forte. But I did look, and there was things to do with pregnancy and miscarriages in the first trial they did, and the numbers were very high. And I just had this thing in my inner self saying, do not accept this vaccine, because I knew everybody was going to be offered it and blah, blah, blah. And I am eternally grateful for listening to that inner voice at that time, because now I spend a lot of my time supporting people in Selby who are older than I, who have had all the jabs and still think it's the best way to go. And I'm not criticizing them. It's their life, they're on their path, and they were scared into doing things, but now they're poorly in lots of ways, and it's not all related to the age they are. So intuition, please, 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 if you just sit still and ask the question of whoever, you ask yourself, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? What is the problem with me? What is? If you can give yourself that space, you will get some inkling come through. That's number one. Number two, my go-to, I'm an empath. And it's something that's a blessing, and it's a bit of a curse at times, because it can lead to you soaking up a lot of energy that can drain you. But I've learned two things. Number one, every morning I have a ritual, which is like a protection ritual. And I use a beautiful, it's nothing significant, this liquid, in the fact that it doesn't contain magical properties. But what it is just the most beautiful smell. It's called Aqua de Flora, and it grounds me, and I just rub it into my hands, and I pray every morning the prayer of St. Patrick's breastplate. And it's not it's not a ritualistic prayer that I say without meaning. I curtail it actually to make it simple, and I'm not going to repeat it now because it's easy to look. It's worldwide famous. But the truth is, every morning I have this little ritual to ground myself and to touch base. The other thing that I do is, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I lie on the floor and I put YouTube on to a wonderful YouTube video by a gorgeous young woman who's been inspirational in yoga in my life. She's now not practicing as a teacher, but she was called Infinite Energy and Yoga. Her name's Emma Leaf, and she's done a little 12-minute YouTube video called Love Your Body. And she literally, I just lie down and listen and go through every aspect, from my skin to my lungs, to my heart, to my bone structure, to my gut system. And the word she uses, just to be thankful, it's a gratitude for the systems of your body. And it really brings me back to, ground zero. It's absolutely fabulous for me, just a recommendation. Number 3, I adore, for some reason, and I can only think this is intuitive, I find essential oil rosemary lifts my spirit. I cook with it quite a bit, rosemary, because I love the smell in the kitchen. But I go to the bathroom where I've got a cabinet full of different essential oils. And if I feel I need to, I literally just take the top off and waft it under my nose. Or I put some in a bottle with some water, 12 drops or so, and just spray it around me like a mist. And it just lifts me. The next one would be eucalyptus. I put drops in the shower, and it's absolutely great in winter. If anybody has any problems with breathing, I got 2017 and 19 very serious pneumonia. They said it was community acquired, but I found that after I've been in hospital and discharged, I found that eucalyptus really did help me in the shower. And lastly, this is last. It's linked to the breathing situation again. I have discovered the herb mullein, and I can't but recommend it to people to give it a go if they have bronchitis or any respiratory problem. I just find I don't know how or why. I've got books on herbalism because I'm trying to study it, because I would prefer to go to nature than to go to the doctor, even though I've been part of that system for 50 odd years. It's quite a wonderful thing going back to the creators. I know that doctors are given great brains and the scientists are fantastic, but going back to what the creator created for our benefit it's empowering in itself. It's wonderful. And one last thing, I'm not a man, but I have a man in my life who, like a lot of men, I won't say over what age, but say over 60, like we share the same birthday, so he was 70 on Saturday, the same day as me. But the truth is, he had an enlarged prostate, and it frightened him because he's a very sensitive soul. And he went to the doctors because they said, you have to go and have a blood test just to make sure that this is just an enlarged prostate and nothing more sinister. But I'd researched and I discovered, and he started to do it before he went to the doctor, but he did go to the doctor to get the blood test to make sure it was all benign and there was nothing horrible lurking. He takes 3 cups of couchgrass tea during the day, and in the early evening he has 2 cups of nettle tea, and that is a herbal remedy to help shrink the prostate. He discussed it with the GP when she called him back to give him the good news. His prostate blood test wasn't cancerous, it was just enlarged, and she offered him 2 lots of prescribed pharma-med and said they've both got terrible side effects. There's none of them you're going to love because both make you impotent, or can do. And secondly, they've got other side effects. And he said, whoa, he said, please, can I share this? And he told her and said, may I continue for a while to take the herbals, because I believe it's helped drop from 4 times a night getting up to the loo to 2. And she said, I want to hear from you in 3 months how great this is, because I need to share this herbal remedy with lots of men because they're all sick of these tablets.
Mm.
So, and he still takes it, but he has 3 months off. Every 6 months, he has 3 months off. So his body gets back to adjusting, and then he starts it again because it works more effective with a break. So I'm sorry if I've talked too long, but that's me.
No, not
Thank
at
you.
all.
Thank you for listening.
It's wonderful, Janet, to hear somebody empowered looking after their own health. And again, I've just seen in the chat that people have been asking if you could put the name of some of the herbs that you just mentioned, one
Yeah,
beginning with M.
I will. I'll do it now.
Obviously, a lot of people suffer with respiratory problems, and essential oils, actually, in an old-fashioned way of putting a few drops in some hot water and then putting a towel over your head, putting them in a receptacle, in a bowl, washing up bowl, whatever, putting a towel over your head and then breathing in, whether it be eucalyptus, cedar wood. Got to be careful, obviously, not too strong, and you've got to keep your eyes closed, otherwise you could end up with really severe, watery eyes from the oils. So you got to keep your eyes closed and put on an eye mask or something. But just breathing them in, or breathing them in the bath, or spraying them in your house really does have a very therapeutic effect, as well as uplifting as well. So Janet, thanks for your hot tips. Much appreciated. It's wonderful that people have got all these things to share, and there's been so much sort of sharing going on in the chat, and also lots of people coming on. I'm going to have to refer to Rachel because I can't see what the time is on my phone because I've got all these beautiful faces and no room for the clock. So I don't know what time it is, but maybe Rachel, you could guide me as to what time it is.
It's 5 minutes past 1. We did start a bit late, so we're probably on the hour now. So I'm going to turn it back to gallery view, and maybe everyone could give us a wave.
Would you anything you'd like to say, Rachel? Because obviously you've just been through your political experience. Is there anything you want to share about that before we leave?
Oh, well, that's a whole can of worms. But I'm very grateful to everyone who answered my poll, which I put in Rachel Speaks Out, which is whether I should continue. And pretty much throughout the whole poll, it's been about 75% saying, yes, go for it, and 25% saying, no, don't bother. And I've been meditating on it, and I realized actually that all of this, the people speak out, Rachel speaks out, going into politics, everything that we're doing, to me, it's an act of devotion. And I actually think that the false matrix kind of depends on there being an outcome, which is like you've got to win or you've got to make money. But actually, when you do things from the heart, when you do things from love as an act of devotion, it kind of scuppers the false matrix because it kind of makes you unstoppable, because the real reason why I'm running is not to win. It is to spread the word and to pattern interrupt the bullshit. And it's a very good platform, even though people maybe didn't vote for me in huge numbers. Nonetheless, I have planted 2,000 seeds there, and I've made people potentially question. So it's not about winning. It's about, to me, it's an act of devotion, like being a mother is an act of devotion, or looking after Kobe. It's an act of devotion every day to take him out and make him his meals and to look after him. And not saying that it's not rewarding as well for me, but all of these things, the more we act from the heart and from love as acts of devotion, and I just will trust that all of the resources that I need to support me, because it does cost money to do these things, and obviously with Roger as well, I know Roger is he won't be able to run. You need to find £500 per election. So we're both running as the mayor for our regions and also as in the general election. So that's £500 each. It's very fixed in favour of the big parties who've got unlimited funds. And then you've got the cost of campaigning. So leaflets to everyone in your constituency. It's a free mail drop, but you've got to provide the leaflets. And if you're Labour or Conservative, you've got pots of money to draw on, whereas the independent people we'd have to either rely on our own resources. I mean, I've self-funded everything up to now. I've had a little bit of support, but not a huge amount. So it's an act of devotion, and I will be continuing. So that is my decision.
So, Rachel, I just want to say from myself and probably on behalf of lots of other people is thank you so much for stepping up. And also you're very inspiring for many people. So even just, well, not even just doing that, but by doing that, standing up and being inspiring is the whole point of it. Not necessarily, as you say, the outcome of winning. It's like you're standing in your power and you're giving other people permission to do the same. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing that. And because I know you put a lot of effort, you've got 5 children as well, a dog, a household, and you're on your own. So you are an amazing inspiration for many people. Thank you so much for what you do. And thank you for the fantastic book you wrote as well, which is obviously something which will go down in history, a legacy that you've left. Well, you will be leaving, should I say, not just quite yet. Don't go now. And thank you, everybody. I just want to say thank you, everyone, for all the fantastic resources that you've been sharing and putting in the chat box, because this is going to help so many other people that maybe not on the call now, but lots of people who watch it afterwards. Rachel, I'm not sure where you're going to be uploading this to, but because obviously it's on your Zoom, it'll be left to you. You probably put it on. It probably won't go down well on YouTube. All this self-help, it doesn't. It's never very welcomed by the authorities, but very welcomed for many people who'll be listening to this, because there's so much information in the chat box that people will get on the email. So just want to say thanks to everybody for coming on. Sorry it's been a bit discombobulated at the beginning with me on my phone, but technology does like to try us and to test us, but we just soldier on no matter what, don't we? And it all comes out all right in the end. So yes, keep on trusting your intuition, listen to your gut, tune into yourself, hum, sing, chant, get together with other people, and we are going to be bringing the walls of Jericho are coming down. So with that, much love to you all. Take care. I think we'll be back with Helen in 2 weeks' time. And this has been the People Speaks Out on the 26th of February, and soon to be March and spring, and all the wonderful things that are, all the life that's coming to us. We welcome it, and we thank Mother Earth for all her abundance. So lots of love, everybody, and see you all very soon. And in the meantime, take care and lots of love. Adios, au revoir, alvidis en pet.
Bye
Bye.
for now.